Hello everyone, welcome to this video. If you're preparing for the AZ204 exam, you are at the right spot. This is really a lab that I'm doing from AZ203, available from the GitHub Microsoft Learning, and I will give you the link of the lab. I think 203 lab structure is better and very nicely organized. So we will work on the 204, but I think the 203 labs are very important. So we are working on the first lab and we have completed the first two exercises, exercise 1 and 2, and this is what we started. We have created the virtual machine using the portal in the first video, and then in the first exercise, in the second exercise, we deployed the virtual machine using CLI commands, and now in our third exercise is what we're going to complete in this particular lab right now. We're going to create a Docker container image and deploy it to the Azure Container Registry. So again, you need an Azure subscription. If you do not have one, please go ahead and get subscribe, get your free account. And once you have that, just come and log into your account. And once you are logged in, you can go to the Cloud Shell, click on this icon. It's either going to give you the PowerShell or the Bash, most likely PowerShell if you're doing it for the first time. Change it to Bash and you have the easy uh, commands available to you. Okay, so there we go. Now we can run commands. So here what we're going to do, we're going to work on the Docker containers, right? So what they're saying, okay, change the Active Directory to cloud drive. So let's see if we can do that. So let's copy this one, uh, come over here and paste and cd, and there we go. So it says cloud drive. So I have changed my directory to the cloud drive directory. Okay, once you are inside this directory. Okay, so what we can do, we can use the command ipcheck within this directory. Okay, so let's just do that. So in this one, when we are here, paste the ipcheck command, and it says, oh, that command is not available for us. So let's see what's wrong with it. So in the ipcheck, create a new directory name ipcheck. Okay, I'm sorry. So here we're gonna create. So we're gonna, that's not a command. So mkdir and do the IP check, and there we go. So we should have the ls IP check command. IP check folder is now available to us. So next we are going to do, we're going to change the directory and go inside the IP check, and then we are gonna start a new .NET application. So that's good. So just do a cd and IP check. So now you can see that you are inside cloud drive and then you're inside the ipcheck folder, so you're ready to create the .NET application from this place. So here what you need to do, you need to run this command. .NET new console is pretty standard if you have any .NET experience at all. And what you're saying here, create this .NET application using the ipcheck folder, and here's the output, provide all the output here. So just copy all of that, come back over here, let's run this command, hit enter, and I would think that you will see some output right over here. It's going on. And just give it a little bit of time and it will create all the files and folders that are necessary to create your .NET application, and it looks like everything is done and ready for you to use. So once you have that, create a new file and we're going to call it Docker file, and it's a standard. Okay, so to create a new file, we can just say, all right, touch, and then we're gonna call Docker file and hit enter, and that should create the Docker file inside the same ipcheck directory. And you can do a ls and as lah, and it should tell you that there's a file, Docker file, that you have just created. There's no size, because besides the file name there is nothing inside the file, right? So we have to now populate the file, and make sure the Docker file is a case sensitive, so you should write the capitalize the D of the Docker file. Okay, so here open the embedded graphical editor in the context of the current directory. So here if you come back over here, so you usually lets you open the graphical editor. So let's try the code and then dot and see if it gives me our graphical editor. And if you look at it, there we go. So this is what they say when they say that you want to open the graphical editor. Okay, so you have it. So come back. What is the next thing? Next thing is we are going to create and taste a .NET Core application. So we need to open, it's a pretty standard. We need to open the program.cs file and see the content of it. So let's go over here again. So here you see when you ran the last command .NET create new, then it created all the folder and file structure. create this program.cs file. So it's giving you some boilerplate code, and here it only has, okay, just if you run this application it should only print hello world for you at this time. But we're going to change that. We're going to copy this code from here, okay, and then we're going to replace the code and put it over here, and we're only going to change the class. Looks like the class program is the only thing that we need to change. So let's just copy and paste it over here. So ipcheck program and then over here. So what it's doing, so if system.net network information network interface get is network available, if the network is available, then you are going to write current IP address, and then you are going to store the host name in a string variable host name, and you're going to get the system.net DNS get host name. And so everything is coming from the system variable, right? So first we are checking if is the system available. If it is, then you're first printing the IP address, then it's getting the host name just by calling .net .dns get host name. Then you are saving the host by running this particular command where you are providing the host name that you have saved in the previous line. And then for each IP address in the host address list, you are going to print the IP addresses. And if the host is not available, is the network interface is not available, you're just gonna print no network connection is available. So that's a very simple program that we're gonna write. And just hit Control S, it works even inside here, and it's gonna save your program file or program that you have just written. So come over here. Now to run the command, and it's again very standard that you run the .NET run command in the command prompt to execute the application and validate it if it finds one or more IP addresses. So let's come back over here, and from the command window over here we can now run .NET run and hit enter, and it's going to tell you if you have any problem with the code, if it finds any IP addresses, things like that. So let's let it run for a second and look at that. So it found the IP address and it's 10.244.34.97. So the program ran beautifully and it got us the IP address that we were looking for. So come back over here. Now what we need to do, we're going to open the Docker file and in the graphical editor and replaces the contents with the following code. There is no content at this time really inside the Docker file, and I'll explain a little bit of what this Docker file is going to do for you. Okay, so let's come over here, back over here to the graphical editor. Now you need to click on the Docker file, and this is an empty file right now, so I'm going to paste all the command. So if you don't know anything of the Docker file, Docker syntax is very simple. So you're going to say from microsoft.com, mcmicrosoft.com .NET Core SDK. So you're going to use that particular build as your base image. You're going to create a working directory. You're going to name it as app. You're going to copy the .cs project Okay, and then inside the Docker file, you're going to run the .NET restore command. You're going to copy some more files, and you're going to run this command .NET publish configuration release output out. And then from Microsoft.com.NET Core Runtime 2.2 Alpine, you're gonna create the working directory. You're gonna say the application is the working directory. You're gonna copy the build to app.out, and you're also gonna specify the environment as .NET ipcheck.dll. Spend a little bit more time looking at the different Docker commands, but this is really all you need to create a very simple Docker file. Second, I'm going to hit save to save this one. Come back over here. At this time, we can close the Cloud Shell. Okay, so let's come back over. And if I want, I can close the Cloud Shell at this time. So uh, next, what we're going to do, we're going to create the Azure Container Registry resource. Okay, so here uh, what we have done so far, we have opened the Cloud Shell, and the editor, we created a sample application, and we have tested the sample application that it's running properly, and we have created a Docker file. That's so far. Now we have to put the Docker image in some registry, and that is what we're going to do in the task 3. So to create an Azure Container Registry resource, okay, create a new container registry. We need to provide this name, resource group, location, admin user, and SKU. So let's come back over here, and let's say container registries. So just click on this one and hit the add button. And I do not have any registries at this time, so let's just go ahead and use. So it's saying any globally unique name. So what I'm gonna do, okay, resource group. Let's see if they're asking for any resource group. Is the container compute resource group? So let's put it in the resource group that we have been using. So registry name, the Basu container. Okay, that's gonna be my container registry name. Location I like is TOS, so I'm good. Admin user disable, SKU is basic. So let's see. Admin user looks like I don't have to do anything. SKU is basic is what we need to do. And let's see if I need to do anything else in here. Encryption, it's all disable right now, looks like. Okay, so just hit final validation. When the validation is successful, I'm gonna create the container registry. Okay, so again, think about what we have done so far. We have created a .NET application, and we have created a Docker file from it. Now we are creating a Docker container registry, where our goal is to deploy the Docker image inside this Docker container registry. And now see how quickly it's been deployed. Now I can click on the go to resource button. So here is my Basu containers, and here is the container registry. Again, it has whole bunch of things that we can go for some other time. So right now it's telling me, it's giving me a SKU, it's giving me 10 gigs. Right now I'm not using any because there is nothing deployed. Okay, and there's some other stuff, there more security that you can integrate with it and stuff like that. So let's focus on the lab again. So once this is done, we can open up our Cloud Shell again, and store the Azure Container Registry metadata. Okay, so AZACR, ACR stands for Azure Container Registry. That's a very useful command that we're going to use in this one. So if you run the AZACR list command, it's going to list all the container registries in our subscription, or in my subscription. So just come over here, open up our Cloud Shell again. Here's my bash. So I can run my AZACR list, hit enter, and you should see any, because I do not have any yet, right? So what we're going to do next, use the following command to output the name of the most recently created registry. So let's start storing some commands. Okay, so this is one useful command that I can give you in my YouTube video that I'm doing. So this the next command. What it does, it gives you the recently created container registry with the date and date and time, stuff like that. But I have, again, I have nothing at the time. So come back over here. I use the following to print the value of the bash shell variable acrName. Okay, so copy this one. Actually, container registry metadata is what it's getting. So container registry, I should have one, because I have created the container. We have not created any containers inside. I should be getting things back. So why did I not get things back? So let's click on this one, acrName. So this looks a little weird. So let's look at what is going on. So because this is the container registry, right? So let's make sure that I have that one available. So home Basu containers. So that is my container registry. So ACL list, this command, I'm going to run it one more time and see if I have something. I still don't have something. So give me 1 second, let me troubleshoot and let me restart the video. Okay, I'm back. So if you remember, when I left before I paused the video, so we were trying to run the ACL list command after we created this container registry, but we were not getting anything. So we were getting an empty list, and it actually took a while to maybe register this Azure registry and all the variables and everything to be available to the Azure cell. It took a little bit of time. So once you deploy and if you immediately start working the next section, if you run this command, if you don't get these results back, don't just give it more time. Don't feel like you have done something wrong. It just took a little while before this command they were registered properly, and I got an input again, got any output back. So right now, so this is the command that I just ran. So it gave me a result back, and this should give me the location STUS, a name Basu containers, right? This is the container that I have deployed, and that's the only container that I deployed. So again, if I run this, I should get the, all the information back for all the registries that I have. That's the purpose of the command. And this registry does not have any images inside it yet, because it's a registry that we have just created, and we know that it's 0 is used, so I have nothing uploaded to this particular registry. So let's go back to the lab. So we have looked at this command. So let me see if I have already saved that for you. Most likely I did. Yes, I did. So next command um, is another command. We're going to run this and we're going to save the name of the most recently created container registry in that acrName variable. So if I copy this one and okay, paste over here and come to our shell, run this command. So now if I do echo, right, echo dollar and then arc, sorry, scr, and it should give me the name of our containers. Okay, so once this is ready for us to use, now we can deploy the Docker container image to the Azure Container Registry that we have created. So let's get back to the folder where we have the application that we have built, and we created a Docker file as well. So let's just cd into the directory. So come back over here, cd, and let's get inside the directory. So now we are back again inside this directory, and you can do ls la just to make sure that you have all the folder and the Docker file available to you. And here what you need to do, use the dir command. So you can also use the dir command if you like. And to upload your Docker file, okay, to your container registry that you have created, you can now run this particular command. Okay, so this command is again, pretty simple to understand. ACR build. So build, okay, use which container registry? The acrName container registry, that's the variable. So it's gonna give the Basu containers registry. And what image do we want to use? It's telling you go inside the ipcheck folder and use the latest Docker file that we have. So let's just copy this command as well, and come over here, save this command for you. And what we'll do from here, we're going to run this command and hit enter. So we are already inside the folder, and so it's gonna say packing source code into a tar to uploading archived source to this temporary directory, okay, and then sending context to registry basu container. So that's the container registry where it's gonna store our files, okay. So it's creating, so this is the Docker file, okay, sending the build context of the Docker daemon. So it's building our Docker image. So it's gonna get all the build from that particular. So it's gonna go and perform all the steps line by line. Okay, so this, and then download, and if you have any intermediate containers, it's going to remove it, then it's going to run the run command, then the copy command, everything that we have specified inside the Docker image. It's going to do that one after the another. So let it do its job, and here it's even tagged the containers as the ipcheck latest, and then it's creating and it's pushing all that stuff, and it says run id ca1 was successful after 1 minute and 12 seconds, and that's about it. So you, if I refresh uh, my container registry here, now you see that it used to be 0, now it's telling you that 0.03 gigs is now being used. So now you know that something was uploaded to our container registry. So let's go back over here. So once we have done this, wait for the build to complete before moving forward with this lab. So we have already done that. And the last thing that we want to do, we want to validate that our container image that we just created, it's still there. So access the container registry. We just did that. Select the repositories link to view your image stored in in the registry. So the other way you can do, you can come over here and let's see, repositories is under services. So click on the repositories, and all the images that you upload in your container registry, they will be stored under the repository. And just you see, this is the ipcheck, so you can click on it. This is the latest Docker image, and it will give you everything, all the information about it. This is the run ID ca1, that's we have already seen the ca1, platform Linux AMD 4, tag creation date, tag is the latest, repository is the ipcheck, and here the manifest is available here, and docker pull command for that particular Docker image is docker pull basu containers su.io ipcheck latest. So all the information about the Docker file and the Docker image is now available over here. Okay, so we have successfully uh, created the registry and entry inside the basu containers for the ipcheck. Okay, now come back over here. So as just a review, so far what we have done, we have created a .NET Core application to display the machine's current IP address, and we ran the program before, right? Then we added the Docker file to the application so that it could be converted into a Docker container image. Finally, we deployed the container image to the Azure Container Registry. Okay, now finally, what we can do this step where we can deploy the Azure Container instance uh, where we already have the Azure container available to us. Now, usually for the last for this section, I have been doing one video for every single exercise. But since these are two related, Let's go ahead and complete this section as well. It will make the video a little longer, but I think it will maybe a little bit easier for you guys to follow. So I'm just gonna do the exercise 4 as part of this video as well. So what we'll do, first task in this section, we gotta enable the admin user in Azure Container Registry. Okay, so access the container registry and then select the update button to view the setting of the container registry, and we need to enable the admin user. So your container registry is this is the container registry that we have created. Okay, so the next thing, we need to select the update button to view the settings for the container registry. So let's find out your update button. Where is my update button? And sometimes when I can't find it, I search for it here, and it looks like it's not easily available over here. So I'm gonna come over here, and sometimes if I don't find it, I'll come back to the top row, and here is the update button. So I click on it. So you see the admin user is now disabled state. I'm going to enable this and save this. And once you have done that, we can now deploy a container image automatically to Azure Container Instance. So we'll go to the repositories to look at the image, and we know we have the only one. We're going to select the IP image and view the latest tag for the image. So let's just do that. So come over here again, we know where the repository is, so let's just come back over here, come to the repository, and then click on that image and make sure that it's got the right tag. Latest is the tag. Okay, select and right click the latest tag for the ipcheck container image to run a new Azure container instance with the following setting. So over here, all we need to do now is right click on it just here, and there's a run instance deploy to web app. Let's see which one they are asking us to do. Right click the latest tag to run a new Azure container instance. So we're going to just run a container instance. So let's click on it. So it's going to ask you, okay, you want to run the container, so just configure it properly. So container name, so in here managed compute is gonna be the name of our container. So let's do that. Container image field is automatically populated. OS field is Linux automatically populated. Subscription is automatically populated for me. We're gonna still use the same resource group, automatically populated. Location is TOS, number of cores 1, memory 1.5, public IP is yes, and we want to have the port 80 available. Let's see if I need any other excuse me, configuration. So they are saying number of cores change to 2 and memory to 4. So let's just do that. Number of cores to 2 and memory to 4 gigs. Okay, so a little bit better machine than the initial default configuration that it gave us. And public IP address, we don't need it, so let's just disable that one as well. And I think that's all you need to run that container instance. So let's just try to run it and see what right now is validating. Excuse me. And look, now it's initializing the deployment, and you can see what's going on. If you click on this button as well, you will see that it says deployment to resource group container compute is in progress, and it's running right now. So just give it a minute and come back over here, and once this is done, uh, so this task, we are deploying the container image automatically to Azure container instance. Okay, and then deploy a container image manually to Azure container instance. And this one, so the other one, because we have enabled our admin user, we we were able to do this. And this one, uh, we are going to deploy a container image manually to an Azure container instance, and we're going to follow these following steps in here. So let me make sure that this deployment is done. So now right over here it says the deployment has been successful. So click on it. If you want to have some more information, your deployment is complete. You can click on to go to the resource. So now you can see this is a container instance, and this container instance is right now running, and everything looks good. And you can stop the instance if you like. uh, Everything looks just fine, and there is the container again. If you click on it, it's going to give you some information about it. So again, go back to the overview. The resource group is deployed under the container compute, running East US, and everything seems to be working just fine. All right, so the last section of the lab, what we are going to do for the task 3, we're going to go back to the container registry and we are going to the access key link to view the credentials necessary to access your container registry from another service. Okay, so let's come back over here and let's see where can we find access. That there is a container service. So go back to home. Excuse me. Go back to the containers, and here under settings is the access key, similar to the storage account. So over here you need some information to be able to complete the remainder portion of the lab. So we need the login server, username, and password. So for now let's just save them. So login name, copy that, paste it. Then we need the login server, paste it, and I need a password. I'm just gonna use the first one and put it over here. So let's make sure one more time. I need the login server, username and password. Sorry, login server, username, passwords. Login server, copy, come back over here. So that is my login server, and username and the registry name are the same. So this is my username. So, and this is my password. So okay, we got everything that we needed. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a new container instance with the following details. Using the access key credentials we recorded in the in this lab. So let's come back and create a container instance. So where are my containers? Okay, so let's come back over here and let's continue with the lab. What I'll do, I'll just come over here and just type the container, and it shows up the container registries. Actually, container instance is what we want. So container against the container instances, just go there, and we created already one container instances that's over here, which is running, and we're gonna click on the add button. So that is going to let us configure a container instance, and we're going to use the parameters that we have saved. So again, we're going to use the container compute resource group. For the container details, let's use manual compute. So let's use that name. East US is image type is private. So let's see, where is my image type? Images, there is the source. I don't see the private yet over here. It may come up in a later state. Twisted image as your container registry is probably where we're gonna choose, but let's see what other configuration we need. Image name is the login server recorded earlier lab, then backslash ipcheck latest. So image name is yeah, you gotta choose the Azure Container Registry so that you get the options. Okay, so registry is fine. Image is fine. I'm trying to see where they're asking us to put the image name. I don't see that option right now over here. Login server, image registries, login server. Let's see if I have those options available to me or not. It's not here yet, so let's go to networking. That is also not what I need, where I need to be. Come over here, restart policy tag, so it's not there. So give me 1 second. Let me do some troubleshooting with Azure. It changes the interface so fast. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out what's going on. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back again. So really, looks like for the image source, you gotta use the Docker Hub or other registry to be able to complete the lab. It's not the quick start images, not the Azure Container Registry, but you gotta use the Docker Hub or other registry. And here you have to provide the image type, which is private. And here, that's the name of the image that we're gonna get from here. Okay, so image name. So this is copy this one, come back over here, uh, paste the later part of it, and just get this, copy this, and I'm going to put at the front. So that is going to be the name of my image. Now image registry login server. So we have already copied that one, login server. Let's get that one. Okay, so that is my login server. Image registry username is again is this. I'm gonna put it there. Image registry password. So that you have already copied previously. So I'm gonna copy this one and I'm gonna put it back here. It's a Linux machine, and let's see the size if they have configured anything. Number of cores 1, memory 1.5. So number of core 1, memory 1.5. I think that should be just fine. Port 80, open additional ports, no. Port protocol TCP restart policy is on failure. So if it fails, then it will restart. Okay, so let's just see if there's, I think all the configuration here is good. So just go to networking. It's already port 80 and TCP ports. They're gonna be open for us. So that looks good. I'm not gonna change anything here. Advanced restart policy on failure. That is also by default is good. I'm agreeing to that one. Don't need any tags, so just review and create. Validation is successful. Hit create, and you should have uh, a new. Oh, this one says uh, is not accessible. Please check the image in the registry credential. So when we tried to deploy this one, we had a problem with the registry, so with the registry keys. So let's see what we can do about it. So if I click on the redeploy, it usually gives me all the configuration that we have already tried. So let's try to put it back to the container compute. Manual compute is the container name. Okay, we want to look at the error one more time. Additional the resource deployment fill list containers for the details. And what a lot of times what I do, I'm just gonna open another Azure tab. So I don't want to make anything changes here on this tab. I'm gonna click on it and look at the raw error sometime. At least one resource deployment operation failed. Details in excess of the image latest in container group manual is not accessible. Please check the image and registry credential. So it's definitely a credential problem. So come back over here. So image name is good. This is good. This is good. Image password. Okay, image username and image password, those are the two things that we need. So again, come back over here. So what we'll do, we'll go back to our registry and verify that our username passwords are all good. So access keys and username basu containers. So over here, basu containers, that looks good. Image password, we have used that one. I'm just gonna copy from here this time and put it back over here. IP address type, port, everything else I think is fine. So I'm just gonna click on agree and hit on purchase and see if that fixes my password problem. Okay. This one it failed again and said uh, this one again. I'm gonna come back over here, click this button. Let me come back, let me do this, refresh this one. It should give me the notification and we are, is it not available here? So I'm gonna come back over here and look at this one. Okay, so we are still having, looks like the registry password problem, registry credential problem. So let me troubleshoot just a minute and I'm going to pause the video. Once it's fixed, I'll restart. Give me a second. Okay, I think I found the problem, although I have not run. I think the image and name, this one is where is my problem. So I should have been provided the full name of my server where we have the container available instead of just the basu containers. Okay, so since we have fixed that, so let's come back over here, get the password one more time and put the password over here. I think that's all we needed. I'm gonna run this. So the only change that I made is here in the image name. Instead of using basu containers slash ipcheck latest, I added the Azure cr.io as well. And look at that now. The deployment is going well and hopefully it will be done. So again, hopefully the troubleshooting helped you. Sometimes I keep all those troubleshootings, all the errors that I faced during a lab. In a lab, I don't edit the videos just to give you some idea how you may face a problem and how you can troubleshoot and fix some of the problems. Just I try to keep this lab as real life as possible. So now you say it says the deployment is successful. You can now go to the resource group and you should have those the manual compute container instances are also available to you, and that should be running. It's not running yet, but but the image is right now available. Okay, so come back to over here. The last thing that we need to do is to validate the container instances ran successfully. So access the manual compute container instance. Select the containers link to view the list of current containers running. So let's go to the manual compute container one more time and go to containers, and it says the state is terminated. So created, started, and then it says terminated. So should it say that or not? Currents and view the list of containers. View the contents of the events list for the container instances that ran your ipcheck application. Select the logs tab and observe the next logs from the container instance. Okay, so all we need to do over here, so first thing we can do is go to overview. Since it's not running the manual compute, we can hit the start button and see if it successfully starts the container for us. Okay, so just give it 1 second, and once that's done, we can look at everything else that they're asking us to check. Go to the events, containers, events and see what happens. So let's go back over here. It says successfully started the container instance, which is good. So now go to the containers. Here is the events, and you can see what happened. Okay, pulling pool created started, and pulling pool created started, and everything is going pretty well. Alright, so you can also look at the logs, and the current IP address is also giving you for the current container that is running. And if you want to connect to the container, you can come over here, and you can choose a startup command, and then hit connect, and it should connect you to the container that is running. Alright, come back to the lab, and here they're saying that if you can optionally view the event and logs from the managed compute container instance if you like. So what they're saying, at this time this is the manual compute. If you want, you can go back. You can go back to the managed compute that is also running, and in here you can go to the container, and you can look at the logs and stuff, and you can events and logs, and this is the IP address of the other instance that is running for us, and you can also connect to that one if you like. Use bean bash. That's my preferred way to connect to a Docker instance or a running instance and uh, test it out. So that's all that we wanted to cover in this particular lab. In this particular lab, we struggled just a little bit because some of the commands and options probably changed from the time they have designed the lab, but we were still able to complete our, our whatever was required in this lab. Hopefully, spend enough time to do this lab. Maybe do it couple times. This is something new that is added to a lot of Azure certification these days. So just be familiar with container registry and Docker. Understand the general Docker concepts, how to run this one, what it means for an image, and when and how an image is different from a running container, how to connect to those containers, and just be familiar. So with that, good luck, and in the next lab we are really going to start the next lab. So this is the end of the first lab, where we looked into deploying compute workloads by using images and the containers. Okay, and the last thing that I'm just going to do, I'm just clean up all the resources that we have created, and really the command that I need to run is this: az group delete, and name is the container compute, that's the resource group, and we just want to run this command. So let me just run this command, and we can end our lab here. So just reconnect, and as soon as it's here, I'm going to run this command, and it gave me the command prompt back, but on the behind it's still running this command. It will delete the resource group, so I'm not charged for the resources that I'm not using. Okay, if you're studying for the exam, good luck. If you like the video, please give me a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave your valuable comments. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.